This is Richard Blade, the voice of the 80s and gay rock radio, and you're listening to the voice of 91 Reasons, Jeff Tucker. Totally awesome.
You're listening to 91 Reasons, a journey into the twisted landscape of pop culture. Keep your hands and arms inside the podcast at all times. And now, the voice, Jeff Tucker.
Well, there we are. We are live. This is okay. Very strange. All right, we're live. This is our second Periscope show, and The Simpsons. Why we're going to talk The Simpsons. Here's the thing, though. I discovered on my crappy phone that the reverse. I mean, look how much better it looks than the last episode. And should I worry about the camera? I'll tell you why. Because the reverse camera looks terrible. So now I have it on the regular camera. You should see this setup. This is like something out of like an old Indiana Jones trap where I've got all this mirror and light set up to get the best thing. But I did all this, and I didn't even count on the fact that if I am using the forward camera and making sure that it's going in in a mirror, I can't read what you guys are saying. So the whole point of doing a live Periscope show is moot if I can't read what you're saying. So hold on, I'm gonna flip around here and change. There I am again. There I am again in the mirror. What if I do that? That's ridiculous, right? Look how ridiculous that is. Okay, I can read it, but you guys can't see me because of my giant stupid camera, my giant stupid phone. Plus it's backwards. Look, I'm backwards in the mirror. Spice Girls in a mug. No, that's one of those awkward family photos that Rachel got me. Let me get this crap out of the way. Hold on. See, there's a lot of technical stuff in this, and I tried to work it all out, and I had it all perfect right before this thing started, and then I had to go and screw it up because I wanted to read what people are saying. So if I do that, you're still seeing all this junk, right? Oh, look, now we fell. Yeah, it's very complicated. Public image. I didn't forget the L this time, right? All right, I'm trying to. Okay, now you're watching me in a mirror. So if I do that, yeah, I'm gonna throw up too. You're a camera guy. You should know. This is terrible. I should have been working on this 2 hours before the thing started. But if I'll use the other camera, and it looks like I'm underwater because the reverse camera does not have the same resolution as the forward-facing camera. So I can't decide what's worse, man, because now everything that you look at is backwards, right? But wasn't it backwards last time too? Who knows? Well, welcome. This is 91 Reasons. This is normally a podcast, and instead, yeah, it's very Simpsons-like, right? Yeah, I need a production crew. I need a whole crew to do. I do this alone. Rachel's not even here. I'm utterly alone. The kids are in the other room, so Dad is left to his own devices. And I've got Audacity on the screen. I've got you guys on the phone, and I've got microphone. So I'm trying to make sure it's recording the whole time and that the screensaver doesn't come on. Oh, I know. Turn the screensaver off. But then I'll forget to turn it back on. So. Thanks, Michael. The whole point of it was to put the logo in the shot, but the logo now is backwards. So for you dyslexics, that ad's going to look great. It's a portable television studio, so your host can look fantastic on TV. Yeah, make the kids roadies, right? They're doing their own thing. They won't even look at me. Here, what if I just stick it on the phone? Look, now that's great. Backwards. So listen to the show, Snosneer 19, everybody. Snosneer IE. Yeah, you know what? Next episode, I'll have all of the bugs worked out, when Pirates of the Caribbean opened, when Disneyland opened, most of the rides didn't even work, right? That's right, John, but when the Pirates of the Caribbean ride breaks down, the pirates don't eat the guests, so Anywho, hey, thanks for joining us. We got a bunch of subscribers on. We got strangers on. We got a whole bunch of people on. Thanks for everybody for supporting the show. And we're a bunch of minutes in here. We haven't even started. So, anywho, as I always am fond of saying on the show, I'm old, and you know this, and how I'm constantly letting you in on how old I am, because not only did I see Star Wars in the movie theater, but I remember when a little show on Fox debuted called The Tracy Ullman Show. Now, we had no idea who Tracy Ullman was when they announced it, and we'll get to it, Adam, we'll get to it. We had no idea who Tracy Ullman was and why she was getting her own show on Fox. And the show was good. I tuned in because as a drama nerd, I was very into sketch comedy, because that's the lifeblood of the drama nerd, right? Is look how funny I can be. We don't have to write a whole movie or a play. We can write one scene and be funny, and sketch comedy's the greatest. So I enjoyed the Tracy Ullman Show and her players on the show, Dan Castellaneta and Julie Kavner, right? And but the real star of the Tracy Ullman Show was every time they went to commercial break, they played little cartoon shorts from this cartoon that we'd never heard of called The Simpsons. And they were, they were so badly drawn and so crude, and the voices are nothing like you can understand. But those of us, yes, Chris, those of us who knew recognized that it was Matt Groening's work, the same guy who did Life in Hell. Now, I'd read Life in Hell in LA Weekly. Yeah, I'm old, thanks. And Life in Hell is a very strange strip. Very strange. Like, half the strips don't even make sense. But they're funny, they're avant-garde, and at the time they were very different. So Matt Groening goes into Fox to pitch Life in Hell as a cartoon series. And what happens is, in the waiting room, he decides if he sells Life in Hell to the studio, then he won't have anything left that's his own. So in the lobby, in there, he comes up with a brand new cartoon. He draws them really quick, names them after his real family, Springfield in Oregon, and names the son Bart, which if you rearrange the letters spells brat, goes in and nails it. And they bought it. And you know what? As archaic and crude as those original cartoons are, and they totally are, there was something about them, and you knew, like, there's something to this. So a couple years later, when they decided to Kiki says the first time I thought they were a parody. Yeah, they were, and Fox was desperate. They were. They needed content. So a couple years later, they do the Christmas special, and everybody tuned in for the Christmas special, and it was fantastic. Fantastic. So they greenlit it to series. And when they greenlit it to series, they only gave him a 12 or 13 episode arc. And that's why, I mean, if you listen to all the auxiliary stuff, that's why Krusty the Clown and Homer are basically the same character design with different coloring and a little bit more hair and such. And that was because if they only went to 13 episodes, at the end of the 13 episodes, they were going to reveal that Marge's big blue hair opened up and had the Life in Hell rabbit ears, and that Bart, who hates his father, would find out that the TV clown on TV was actually his dad. This is first year Simpsons, 1989 to 1990. And they had a plan in place. And the people like Sam Simon and James L. Brooks and Matt Groening, who worked so hard on those first few episodes, and it does show, they were a huge leap. Yeah, Marge's bongo handle, can you believe that? I got that off the Gilbert Gottfried podcast, where he had one of the head writers on. And that was the big reveal of Marge's hair. But they worked so hard on those initial episodes. And you know what? Again, they're crude, they're hard to watch, they're bizarre, but they do have really, really crisp writing. And not like The Simpsons today. The first, wait, 3 or 4 seasons, the shows had a linear storytelling. linear storytelling, where the first scene set up the episode, the middle scenes told you the plot, and the last scenes resolved the plot. And they gave that up. They do these weirdo, bizarro entrances that have nothing to do with the rest of the show, and that doesn't change the fact. Like, I know that people will say that they've lost their footing, and to some degree that's inevitable with the show that's been on so long. What are we at, 17 years? 16, 17 years now? It's inevitable that a show is going to have its hills and valleys and peaks, and oh my God, it's amazing. So they're 17 years, 26 seasons. Is that how we go by it? I don't know, because I used to have every season on DVD, and it got to the point where I just, like, when am I ever going to watch these again? So I ended up selling them because they were taking up huge amounts of space. That, and the people behind The Simpsons have this, they're going to save the world. So the Simpsons DVD packaging is terrible. Terrible. They scratch the discs. They don't have plastic things to hold the discs in place. And I gave up on collecting all the seasons. It wasn't for me. They did those dumb plastic heads, which didn't fit on the shelf properly, and blah, 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 blah. But that being said, Simpsons remains one of the best written shows, if not the funniest written show of all time on television. Some of the most amazing writers, Conan O'Brien, have passed through the doorway of the Simpsons television show and have given us some of the most iconic and funniest episodes of all time. There's no doubt that in the landscape of television, the Simpsons are eventually, it's inevitable that they have to end their run at some point. I don't know how you do that, but eventually they will end their run at some point and ride off into the sunset. So everybody keeps saying monorail. Monorail's definitely in, like, what, the top 5 episodes of all time? You know, there ain't nothing in the world like electrified 6-car monorail. What's it called? Monorail. Written by Conan O'Brien, featuring Leonard Nimoy. Some of the most iconic lines of all time. I call the big one Bitey. A really strong
episode. What about us reckless slobs? You'll all be given cushy jobs. And, was there ever a bigger tragedy than losing Phil Hartman and all the genius that he was and all the characters, Lionel Hutz and the Monorail Flim Flam Man and Troy McClure, and what a tragedy, man. What a tragedy. But there is a lesson in that, kids, and the lesson is if you're going to leave your wife, you just got to leave that night, right? I am Troy McClure. You may remember me for such podcasts as Christmas Ape and Christmas Ape Goes to Summer Camp. And, yeah, Chris, just right. And, oh my God, Troy McClure in the Planet of the Apes musical. I hate every ape I see, from chimpanzee to chimpanzee. Dr. Zayas. So if you had to say, who would be your favorite Simpson character of all time? Favorite Simpson character. Just start rolling them out here. Because I tell you, mine, I wavered for a while. Originally, my favorite character was Moe. You see Dr. Nick. Hi, everybody. Bart, Apu, comic book guy. Worst podcast ever. Maggie, Moe. Yeah, see, I loved Moe when the show first started, and Homer was like, because Homer was originally Walter Matthau. Hello, boy. Sit down here, boy, and you may outsmart somebody. Ned Flanders, the bee guy. But in the first season, I really liked Moe, because Moe had that cool story arc where they borrowed from the Tube Bar, and they would call Moe up on the phone and go, I'm looking for Freely, first initials IP. Everybody put your glasses down. IP Freely.
They'd laugh at him, and he'd go, listen, I'm going to find out where you are. And I'm going to rip your eyes out and shove them down your pants so you can watch me kick your ass. I loved The Simpsons, man. But as it went on, and there's the real turning point. And the turning point is the episode where Ned Flanders and Homer have a bet over whose son is going to win at football. I don't remember the sport. And they have to. The bet is they have to mow each other's lawns wearing a dress. And neither kid will win. So both Homer and Ned have to wear a dress mowing the lawn. And that's the turning point episode. You can watch it in order, my friends. Homer goes from being this weird baboon, angry, hey, come here, boy. And then Homer's this dreamer guy. Come on. And just, it's such an amazing turn of character and turns the whole show around, because having Homer anchor the family as, shocker, a loving father is what makes The Simpsons so good. And I'll tell you, Yellow King identifies with Millhouse. You got the dud! That's the Summer Beach House episode when they're playing Mystery Date. But I'll tell you, I'm an ugly moron with a stupid face, and my butt smells, and I want to kiss my own butt. Most have at home of the world's largest big screen, home of the world's smallest big screen TV. So I'll tell you my favorite episode of The Simpsons, and you tell me yours. My favorite episode of The Simpsons is, I don't remember what season it is, probably 5 or 6. Somebody will know offhand, because as you remember, I don't do this show with any notes. It's where they find the photo album, and Homer and Marge are telling the kids the story of how each of the kids was born. And it turns into this weird story about how Homer finally gets the family out of debt. And he's able to quit the power plant. He actually leaves the power plant playing Mr. Burns' head like bongos, and sets the bridge on fire, and gets a job at the bowling alley as a pin monkey. And when they get to it, the book has no pictures of Maggie, even though it's supposed to be the story of how Maggie was born. And what happens is that Marge finds out she's pregnant, and Homer, in order to keep the family afloat, has to go back to the power plant. They have a special door that makes him crawl on his hands and knees to beg for his job back. And Mr. Burns is like, well, now we've got you. Now we own you. You're a drone in Section 7G. That's right, Homer. And he goes back to his cubicle, and at the end of the episode, well, they show him his workstation, and there's a big brass plaque on it that says, don't forget, you're here forever. And at the end of the episode, the kids ask, this book has no pictures of Maggie in it. Where's the pictures of Maggie? And Homer says, I have those where I need them the most. And they show Homer's workspace, and they turn around to show you what he's actually looking at. And he's got pictures of Maggie on the brass plaque covered up that says, don't forget, you're here for her. And oh my God, that's some of the best writing I've ever seen, yes, for Maggie on TV. I mean, I get choked up talking about it. It's so good. That is a stellar episode. Oh, man. There's also another episode where, do you remember the episode where Bart sneaks out early and gets all the Christmas presents open and burns the tree into a big plastic glop? And the Simpsons get on TV and say that they were robbed. So they get a bunch of money from the town. They buy a new car, which they then sink into the lake. And then when they go outside, the big glop of melted tree and presents has been uncovered. So the mob gets in the house and takes everything. If you head into the medicine cabinet, you're too late. And at the end, they're in their house alone with nothing except a wash rag. and they play with the wash rag and have fun. And what separates The Simpsons from other animated shows, Family Guy, South Park. South Park's more political. Family Guy's just, I don't know, I don't watch it. But what I've seen, it's pretty mean-spirited. The Simpsons, at the end of the day, love each other. As only a real family can, warts and all, where even the worst transgressions are forgiven. Yeah, you're right. The most memorable episodes are not from anything in the last 15 years. And, remember the one where Bart shoplifts at the Try and Save? And he gets picked up by, what's his name? Lawrence Tierney. What are you doing? My mom's going to buy... Listen. If I wanted smoke blowing up my ass, I'd be at home with a cigar and a length of hose. You're banned from the Try and Save. And then, at the end of the episode, he takes his own family portrait and tapes it. And, Mom just forgives him. And that's what family is. That's what family is. That's the bond of family. And that's to me why The Simpsons is so good, is because they love each other so much, and they're willing to sacrifice. Remember when Lisa didn't Lisa get a pony, and Homer had to work double jobs at the Quickie Mart? Yeah, and you're right, Chris. They get the best celebrity voices. Fat Tony. I mean, it's Joe Mantegna as Fat Tony. Is there a release to these keys? My wife is very insistent on the pretzel money. When are you getting the pretzel money? Why don't you have the pretzel money? Jack Lemmon from the same episode, the pretzel episode. Setting up your office in the garage with an electric door can make you feel like you're in a futuristic wonder world. And then he dies, and Homer goes to his house. He's got all those lawn ornaments that are moving back and forth, and Homer goes, looks like Mr. Pretzel Guy has done pretty well for himself. Oh, I love Gil, too. Isn't Gil the greatest? Ah, come on. Now, Gil is supposed to be Jack Lemmon from Glengarry Glen Ross, the worst salesman ever. Come on, these are Coleco computers. I need the sale. Come on, please. Oh, how many can I put you down for? And they only catch on fire occasionally. Just the greatest. Dr. Nick, comic book guy. They had an episode where comic book guy took Polaroids of Bart and Milhouse and stuck them on the band wall. I mean, that is so real. When Bart is caught in the middle of Principal Skinner and Miss Krabappel's love affair, that's got one of my favorite endings of all time, where the whole mob is there and Krusty's there standing next to Reverend Helen Lovejoy, and she goes, I think we're forgetting about SEX in front of the CHILDREN, and Krusty goes, Sex Cauldron? Sex Cauldron? I thought they closed that place down. Oh my God, the greatest. The Simpsons, for years, the Sex Cauldron. That's when Skinner comes out with a vest full of hot dogs. I'm wearing a bomb. Those smell like hot dogs. I'm a hot dogs. God, man. You could while away, like before DVDs. You had to tape them off TV. And I had an 8-hour VHS with nothing but Simpsons on it that I would just I wouldn't rewind it till it was the end, but I would just put it on and watch it. Put it in the background as noise. Best couch gag, Hendel asked. That's a tough one. I'd have to think about that. Obviously, I like the one where the couch turns into Han and Carbonite and Boba Fett comes out. That's pretty recent, right? What are some of the good couch gags? Hi, Josie. Josie's on Periscope in the other room. There's one where the couch becomes a horse, and they have to ride it off in the sunset. Evolution is good. The couch gags were put in as a way to lengthen the episodes if they were short. That's why, that one where it goes ba-da-da-da-da-da, and it becomes the circus with all of the characters and all the characters and more and more and more. You could tell if the writers didn't have enough jokes in the episode, the couch gag gets longer. There's a tip for you, folks. The longer the couch gag, the less material they had for the show. Or, in the case of The Simpsons, I'm sure it was not loss of material. I'm sure it was simply, we got to cut some of the fat out of this episode. We just got to cut some out. So they would cut the episode. And that's the thing. If you watch The Simpsons, that's the thing that really... See, I'm a writer. And the thing with The Simpsons get right is they're able to get in the scene as far in as you can and then get out as quickly as you can and still leave you with the information that you need. And that's the hallmark of good writing. There's no shoe leather. They don't get somewhere and then, yeah. And Chris saying that some of abrupt endings, some of them really do. Like, it's over. Handel says they all just blur together. Well, that's understandable with hundreds and hundreds of episodes, you know. Simpsons has always had huge marketing. Right from the beginning, Bart was on every T-shirt. Remember the Rastafarian Bart shirt we had? We had that Spencer Gifts forever. You know, I'm Bart Simpson, who the hell are you? Homer saying, as far as everyone knows, we're a nice, normal family. And they just have, there's been an evolution of Simpsons merchandise where now they really focus on Homer more than anything. And The Simpsons is one of those few movies to actually make a successful transition to a successful motion picture. And you know what? I actually enjoyed The Simpsons movie. I thought that it did what it set out to do. It was not just 4 episodes strung together like the Clone Wars movie was. Thank you, Lucasfilm. But it told a full story with a beginning, a middle, and an end. And more importantly, they were able to do in the movie a few things they couldn't do on television. And that's really have Otto the bus driver smoking pot and have Homer flip everybody off. You know, I thought that was interesting. The animation was very good, too. I mean, really expensive animation compared to what they had on television at the time. It then morphed once those character models were done for the movie. They transitioned those into the television show. But I thought that was very, very good. Had Tom Hanks in it. Hi, I'm Tom Hanks. Had probably one of my favorite... Well, yeah, I totally forgot. They showed Bart's wiener right on the movie, man. They do that huge gag where everything's... Everybody look where I'm pointing. Da-da-da. And then suddenly, boo, right at the end, there's his winky dink right on the screen for everybody to see. I love that they had a crawl in it. This is Fox. Yes, we advertise in our movies now, too. I thought that was pretty funny. Interesting that... They knew who was going to participate, and Flanders had only a short stint in the film, and Mr. Burns and Smithers, 0. 0, right? And I loved, at the beginning, them taking the time to say, after watching Itchy and Scratchy, the movie, why are we paying? We get this on TV at home for free. Everybody, this whole theater is a sucker, including you. The Simpsons movie on the big screen. I love Dr. Frink. Professor Frink. Halloween episodes, tradition. I actually watched a new episode just the other day that... they actually celebrated Halloween in Springfield, which I don't think they've ever done before, and that was pretty interesting. But the Halloween episodes are a staple, man. What's your favorite Treehouse of Horror episode? You get 3 each year to choose from, right? Where it's the quote the Raven, nevermore. Homer jumps into the real world, right? How awesome is that? And he goes and buys an erotic cake. Ooh, erotic cakes. I love when he looks around and he goes, this looks expensive. Oh, the shinning is great. The shinning! The boy's got the shinning. That one's fantastic. What's the one where Maggie pulls out her pacifier and talks in James Earl Jones's voice? This is indeed a strange place. Ooh, sprinkles. Oh, man. I actually like some of the weirder ones. There's a Halloween episode where... It was 96, where Clinton and Bob Dole were running for president, and they get their bodies taken over by Kang and Kodos, and they reveal them. They're holding hands down the street, and he goes, "We've done some poll numbers, and We don't think you should be seen holding hands in public with your opponent. If you can think of another way to exchange nutrient strands, I'd like to hear it. And then he gives that speech, and the guy's like, but we know that you're both aliens, so we're not going to vote for either one of you. And what are you going to do? We're going to vote for a third party. Throw your vote away. Like, that is brilliant political lampooning, man. And The Simpsons has always been brilliant of that. Oh, yeah, Smithers finally coming out as gay. I'll tell you what, my favorite sequence on the show of all time. Oh, yeah, somebody's mentioning Homer with the Donuts. James Coco went berserk within an hour. More. Oh, Willie as Freddy Krueger was great. What about when all the faculty at the school are eating the students? What did you say, Bart? Eat your shorts. Fantastic. But my favorite sequence of all this, and you know what? That's hard to pick because there are a lot of really good sequences. My favorite sequence is the one where Bart thinks that Homer might be gay. So he takes him to the manliest place he can think of, the local steel mill. And he's like, I brought my son down to see some real men. Well, you brought him to the right place, right, Roscoe? And it turns into the steel mill gay dance club, and they start playing CNC Music Factory's Everybody Dance Now. Oh my God, is that funny? That is one of the funniest sequences ever written for a television show. And he goes and he tells Moe, Homer, I could have told you that. Whole still industry's gay. Everybody Dance Now. A really, really funny sequence, man. There's another one. I don't even know what episode it is, but it's where the people from the network show up to give Krusty notes, and he drives away from them, and they turn into the T-1000 from Terminator 2. We have notes, and they're like chasing him down the road. I love that one too. I like when Homer changed his name to Max Power. Max Power has a name you'd love to touch, but you mustn't touch. Fantastic episode. That's the one where he meets Ed Begley Jr., who's driving a car that runs on his own sense of self-purpose. It's even Ed Begley Jr., Mr. Green himself, lampooning himself on The Simpsons. That's what they say the modern touchstone is, right? If you've been on The Simpsons, you've made it, you know? Miss Rowling, would you tell me how Harry Potter ends? What? Do you want to know? What do you want to hear? That he ends up with you? Yes. Yeah, fantastic. I love when Lisa goes vegetarian. Isn't that where she meets Apu and Paul McCartney on top of the Quickie Mart? You know? I love Itchy and Scratchy. What's the best Itchy and Scratchy? See, that's hard to pick because Itchy and Scratchy are like a little wafer mint. Like, you don't remember it much. Like, they do all sorts of things, and like, other than like the Itchy and Scratchy episode where they go to Itchy and Scratchy Land, which is Westworld. I don't remember a lot of Itchy and Scratchy. I mean, he wraps his tongue around things, pulls his guts out. You know what I mean? I don't know. What about McBain? Don't you love McBain with Rainier Wolfcastle? And what's great is if they've done Rainier Wolfcastle, they've done McBain on the show 3 or 4 times, and somebody actually cut them all out and strung them together. And if you string all of the McBain sequences from all the different episodes, written by different people, broadcast over different years, they actually make a coherent action movie. That is completely amazing. Nice to see you. Ah, McBain. So glad you could drop in. Here, have a salmon puff. And then that's from the last exit to Springfield episode, arguably considered the finest written episode of the series, where Homer becomes head of the union. We'll get back that dental plan. Lisa needs braces. Dental plan. Lisa needs braces. Dental plan. Lisa needs braces. Dental plan. I, for one, welcome our new insect overlords. What is his name? What is the newscast? I'm Kent Brockman. I'm Kent Brockman. Do you remember the episode where Rainier Wolfcastle has a garage sale and he's trying to sell his weights and he like puts his arm up with his muscle and they're like jiggling like Oh, look at them. That's so funny. Hey, how many of you have watched the episode where Professor Frink has a yard sale and you're like, oh my God, I wish I could go to that. Oh, somebody just mentioned the episode where Homer goes into space. That's a great episode. That's where NASA decides they have to send an average person into space because nobody cares about the space program anymore. And that's where the chips get out. Dun, 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 dun. Bum, bum. And Homer's floating through the air, saving the spaceship by eating all of the potato chips. Oh, that's a great episode. How about the X-Files episode? Doodle-doo-doodle-doo-doodle-doo-doodle. I bring peace and love. Hey, it brings peace and love. Kill it. Oh, that's the greatest. My kids and I have a whole spectrum of Simpsons quotes that we do. Oh, I love the Raven episode. That's the first ever Treehouse of Horror. That one's great. I'm the queen. No, I am. No, you're not. Oh, yes. I mean, you could just quote them all day. How about this episode? Cape Simpson, I think it's called. The one where Sideshow Bob goes after Bart in a parody of Cape Fear. And the Simpsons have to go into the witness protection program where the whole show starts over as the Thompsons. So they're sitting there talking to Homer. He goes, Homer, your new name is Mr. Thompson. Uh-huh. Mr. Thompson. And Homer just sits there. Homer, you have to say something. When I say Mr. Thompson, you say hello. Hello, Mr. Thompson. All right, I'll tell you what. I'm going to say hello, Mr. Thompson, and tap you on the foot. Then you say hello. Hello, Mr. Thompson. And then Homer turns to the guy next to him. I think he's talking to you. And that's where Sideshow Bob has to do HMS Pinafore. Oh, so good. Brian's asking me, did I enjoy the Family Guy Simpsons crossover? No, I'm not a Family Guy fan at all. Like, I just can't stand the show. It's way too mean-spirited for me. I don't dig it. So it's like Elvis or Beatles, right? Simpsons or Family Guy. I am Simpsons. I don't understand the Family Guy. I don't get why it's popular. But that's, I mean, again, I don't get pistachio ice cream. So everybody's got their own flavor, so to speak, right? Yeah, American Dad. I don't get that either. I don't watch any of that stuff. I don't really watch The Simpsons anymore. But I've watched them a bunch. Yeah, you know what, Hendel? They just did a Homer Futurama crossover. It took forever. Oh, the hurricane episode. That's the hurricane. You know what, Lisa? There's never been a record of a hurricane hitting Springfield. Yeah, but the records only go back to 1986 when the Hall of Records was mysteriously blown away. Oh my God, these buttons taste like burning. Remember the season 1 episode where they band against Nelson and they do boot camp? And at the end, Bart says, you know what? You can learn more about war at your local library, but war is bad, except the Star Wars trilogy. World War I, World War II, and the Star Wars trilogy. Oh, yeah. Ralph Wiggum, my cat's breath smells like cat food. I bent my Wookiee. Ralph Wiggum, man. Beautiful, beautiful character. I mean, you look, Ralph Wiggum's episode, and you must think, God, I bet they spent 15 hours on every single phrase that comes out of that kid's mouth. Because they're all brilliant. And there must be 10,000 that they jettisoned in favor of the few that they get on the episode, right? Because Ralph's, he's like a fountain of wisdom. I also like Hans Moleman. It's like kissing a peanut. I'm trying to use the phone. I love Hans Moleman, man. You'll never escape from the mole people. Oh yeah, the talking about the foreign exchange episode where Bart goes to France. That's another season 1 episode. That's where the Simpsons get a spy, spero tu nest, and Bart learns French by osmosis. We give you food and bread, and you turn on us like this. Oh, great episode. The first few seasons, most of them are complete gems, man. The Princess Cashmere episode where Bart gets a picture of Homer dancing with the stripper. Abe Simpson, you know, back in my day, what does he say? Nichols had pictures of bumblebees on him. We'd say, give me 5 bees for a quarter. And we would tie an onion on our belt, which was the style at the time. Oh my God, just great stuff. John Lovitz, Phil Hartman. I mean, the guest star voices are off the charts. They, I'd even go on a limb and say that Simpsons probably has the best lineup of guest star voices of anybody. Kelsey Grammer as Sideshow Bob. His brother from Frasier as Sideshow Bob's brother, Cecil, where they're going to blow up the dam. Such great... Fat Tony, Joe Montana, man. And 19-Dickety-2. NSYNC. Hey, it's NSYNC! Bum, bum, and close with The Matrix. That's the great episode where they blow up Mad Magazine's headquarters in New York. Listen, I'm... What is his name? I don't remember the recruiter's name, but that's the Yvonne Etniage episode. Yvonne Etniage. Barry White, when he's that's the Bash the Snakes episode, and they rarely show that episode, if ever, on television. Cypress Hill, LT Smash, there it is. Nice work. I'm LT Smash. That's the Hullabalooza episode where Homer goes on tour with Sonic Youth, and Whacking Day. They never show Whacking Day. They don't show Whacking Day, and do you know what other episode they never, ever show in syndication? Anybody guess? There's one episode that was pulled from syndication that is not part of it anymore, unless the rules have changed. But there is an episode that, due to tragedy, is not part of the Simpsons syndication package, and that would be... where Homer loans his car to Barney, and Barney leaves it at the base of the World Trade Center. And Homer has to take the family in. It's called Homer versus New York. And they go to New York to get the car from the Trade Center. It is a fantastic episode. Beautiful love letter to New York with even Woody Allen in it. And I mean, it's the ultimate Kraukalash. What do you got? Kraukalash. Ugh. You want some Kraukalash? Okay. And then Homer has Kraukalash, and he goes, what do you got to drink? I have a Kraukalash and Mountain Dew. No, crab juice. I have crab juice and Mountain Dew. Ugh. I'll have crab juice. It's where Homer drives the car with the boot on. Great episode. And you know what? I don't know what your opinion is, but I really don't like when they erase the World Trade Center from history. When the episode was made, the World Trade Centers were standing proudly. So it's not like you can imagine they weren't there. Remember when they digitally erased them from Spider-Man? I mean, that's blasphemy as far as I'm concerned. And a real slap in the face to not only the people who worked and toiled and built the World Trade Center, but the 3,000 people who died. Seeing the Simpsons episode is not blasphemy. It's not in bad taste. It is a beautiful... I urge you, find out what season that is, buy it, and really watch that episode, because it's a real underrated episode. And it's underrated only because it was pulled from syndication. And it's not like all the episodes that we know by heart again and again and again. And Monorail. I mean, I love Monorail. I love the Union episode. I love Troy McClure marries Patty. They're brilliant episodes. How about Homer's enemy, Frank Grimes? Hey, Grimesy. Homer, you've been to space? You haven't? Is that lobster I smell? Blah, blah, blah. I'm Homer Simpson. I mean, a really good episode. Oh, Grimy. Where'd you get pencils with your name on it? You can order them from any office supply. You haven't been? Oh, yeah, that's a great episode. And it's a fun episode because it shows, like, in the Simpsons world, Homer is impervious. And no one else can mess with the laws of physics. Hindle is saying Season 9, Episode 1, Homer versus New York. So I would definitely check that out. Oh, Barney enters the astronaut program. I don't wash my hands because I'm Homer Simpson. Ah! And everyone looks at Grimy like he's crazy. Like, Grimes is crazy. Great episode. Really great episode. Yeah, Frank Grimes, Cape Fear, those are... Simpsons is one of those shows that if how many shows are like this? If the TV was broke for 3 days and only showing The Simpsons, you'd be fine. You'd have no issues. You know what I mean? Look at everybody. Homer's in a contest with children. And I put these neat racing stripes. I thought that was pretty sporty. And that's where Martin is like, no, I built a portable power plant. It's lighting the room as we speak. Oh, I love when the Simpsons are going to Japan. And that's where they have to go on a game show to get all their money back. Welcome to the lightning round. American game shows reward intelligence. Japanese shows punish ignorance. A knife goes in, the guts come out. Knife goes in, the guts come out. And that's the way it is with the Osaki fish concern. Whatever you say, fish bulb. Mr. Sparkle. How come I'm on the box? Hello. You like a Mr. Sparkle? I want to see the Japanese take on the club sandwich. Oh, brilliant. Brilliant writing. The Simpsons are going to Delaware. I want to visit a screen door factory. Oh, my God. Remember when they go to the Cafe, what's it, Cafe American or something? And the guy's like, hello, American friend. What's up? James Woods works at the Quickie Mart to bone up for a role. Oh my! Did you believe what I said? I mean, was I convincing as a Quickie Mart employee? Because I'm trying to get the hang of this. I don't know. I mean, unbelievable episodes. What about when they're terrified of immigrants and Apu has to pretend to be Americanized? Hello, Homer. What about when Jasper gets locked in the freezer at the Quickie Mart, and he becomes Frostilicus? He becomes a sideshow attraction, and when he gets thawed out, he goes, "So this is what the future is like, huh? Oh, Apu, time has ravaged your once youthful face." And when he takes over the school as a substitute teacher, asking a question, that's a paddling. Talking out of turn, you better believe that's a paddling. Oh, absolute brilliance. Okay, well, how about this scene? There's a party at Martin's house, and Skinner and Crabapple are in Martin's playhouse having a tea party. And she goes, what kind of kid has a dollhouse and a tea set? And Skinner goes, I think we both know what kind, Edna. A lucky boy. Oh, yeah, Chris just mentioned when Bart and Milhouse get the money and they go on a squishy that's all concentrate, and they go on a squishy bender, and they're going, Springfield, it's a hell of a town. And the guy goes, New York, hey, New York's that way. Thanks, kid. I don't know what your magic pixies are, but I sure love your magic pixie drink. Oh, 3 Men in a Comic Book. Brilliant. Where they got the tongs on the fire to turn the page. I mean, as a collector guy, it's the greatest. Alternate ending. Chewbacca is Luke and Skywalker's father. I'll give you $25 for the whole box. Don't do it. He's trying to rip you off. The schoolyard's up and the shopping mall's down. Springfield. Now, okay, that leads us into a whole nother subtopic. The music of The Simpsons. The monorail song. My favorite song that's ever been on the show. We Put the Spring in Springfield. Man, is that brilliant. We're the point after touchdown. The lace on the nightgown. Yes, we put the spring in Springfield. I had no idea. Come on now, you were working here. To shut this down, it would be twisted. We just heard this place existed. Brilliant. Oh, yeah, Chris is talking about the episode where Homer goes to Krusty school, and he has to do the loop-de-loop to prove who he is. Oh, my God, yes, pants fall down. Hey, do me a favor, burn that seat. What about when the Goodfellas episode where Bart joins the mob? What have I done to you that you would make this mediocre Manhattan? Oh, my God. And it turns out Skinner isn't dead. He's buried under recycling. Oh, my God. Brilliant. The Simpsons, you could say like they don't make them like that anymore. But to me, The Simpsons gets a pass. because when they've been on the air so long, you can have ebbs and flows. And the rat milk episode. Oh, that's so disgusting. So disgusting. Episode I like that's really weird. The one that's told out of order, where Lisa builds Linguo, the robot, the vocabulary robot, and Homer gets his thumb cut off, and Milhouse takes Bart to a cave and goes, "This is where I come to cry," and all the stories have to converge at the end. Inflammable means flammable? What a country! As you can see, they are sewing his thumb back on. The Pulp Fiction episode is great, where where Chief Wiggum is sitting tied to a chair. Oh my God, that's brilliant. Mojo the monkey, pray for Mojo. We gotta get rid of this monkey. Somebody's gonna get parasites. But Marge, they're reenacting the Civil War. What about the Stonecutters episode? The Stonecutters episode, right? Who holds back the electric car? Who makes Steve Gutenberg a star? We do. We do. It's our illustrious organization's 100th anniversary. And to celebrate, we're having ribs. Oh, the lobster Pinchy. Remember Pinchy? Homer adopts a lobster and ends up giving him a warm bath and ends up, Pinchy would want it this way. Oh, so tender. So tender. Aye, he's been coddled. Your lobster. He's been coddled. Captain McAllister. I love Captain McAllister. Simpsons. Oh, See My Vest. Brilliant episode where Mr. Burns is trying to get the puppies. See my vest made of real gorilla chest, like my loafers, former gophers. It was that or skin my chauffeurs. Yeah, Burns runs for mayor, and the three-eyed fish ends up on a plate because it's will he eat it? You know what? That's one of the last episodes to feature like a full linear storyline. It really is. I know they had a few after that, but that was like the king of linear. Someone just asked, what's the worst Simpsons character? What is it, guys? Is it Duffman? Is it any of the million characters they shoehorned into the show to replace Phil Hartman? And you know what? God bless them for doing that, because you can't replace Phil Hartman. You can't get a sound alike. Troy McClure, Lionel Hutz. Mr. Simpson, I'll have to refer to the case of Finders versus Keepers. You can't replace Phil Hartman. So somebody just said Kearney. Is Kearney the worst character? Like, Kearney's hardly in the show. You know? Bumblebee Man. Ay, caramba! Bumblebee Man, Duff Man, Lindsay Nagel. You know, who's the worst Simpsons character? Who is, what about Cookie Kwan? You stay out of the West Side. When Marge tries to sell the murder house. I'm a torso. Worst regular. Yeah, you'd have to be like, what's the worst regular character? Like, we see, like, someone we see a lot. Because, like, if you're going to pick the worst, it'd be like, to me, the worst would be the nerd characters. Who are they? Like Data, and then there's a red-haired guy, and then there's a black one with buck teeth. Mr. Simpson. Data was the worst. I mean, he's been in a bunch of episodes. That's a terrible character. I don't like any time he's on screen. The three nerds. Terrible, terrible characters. What about the KBBL reporters? That's pretty bad. Yeah, that's the one where Homer goes back to college. And terrible. Yeah, I'm not. This will sound like blasphemy. I'm not a fan of Chalmers, Superintendent Chalmers. I don't really care for him at all. He's on a lot of episodes, and I don't really care for him. I don't like Lisa's teacher either, Miss Hoover. Patty and Selma. I like Patty and Selma. You know, they're pretty one note. But that's okay. Yeah, Reverend Lovejoy saves Flanders from baboons. Is that on the train at the zoo? Yeah, I don't like Hoover. She's always smoking, you know. Put your hand down, Lisa. Like, she just, I don't, yeah. But look at, we're almost an hour into this, just bumping around the Simpsons universe. And that's not even counting, like, video games and comic books, toys, plush, T-shirts, apparel, bathware, you name it. Oh yeah, Marsha Wallace was fantastic as Mrs. Krabappel. What a loss, too young. But at least, she gave us unforgettable characters for years on television. If you look back at her career, fantastic. And it would be a dream of any of us to pass through the hallowed halls of The Simpsons and do a voice or two on the show. That would be a dream come true. Like, I know Phil Hendry's been on the show a couple of times, and a lot, there's a lot of fly-by-night. Like, remember Hindle asked earlier what the best couch gag was? What about the worst couch gag? To me, that would be when Lisa's saying "tick-tock" from Keisha. I'm like, that's knee-jerk reaction. Most desirable new cameo. Has Benedict Cumberbatch been on the show? Ian McKellen? Guys with really good voices. Someone we really want to hear from. Remember when Homer became an artist and Jasper John was on the show? And Homer flooded the town and made the best piece of art ever when he was trying to make that barbecue. What about... Okay, we were talking earlier about... Simpsons always poking fun at religion. Remember when they dug up the angel and Homer was charging people to see it, and then the angel gets stolen? Bart, strip down to your skeleton. I need a new angel. And it turns out like that. Oh, the exchange on that, where everybody's convinced that the angel represents the rapture and that they're all going to be ascending to heaven. And Marge is making the family get dressed up real nice. And Bart says, "Why are we getting dressed up? Are we going to Black Angus?" "You might say we're going to the best steakhouse in the universe." "So we're not going to Black Angus." And it turns out, like people just said, it was an advertisement for the new mall. Oh my God, that's brilliant. Absolutely, unbelievably brilliant. What about when Barney and Homer, they quit drinking and Moe starts selling... lattes? "Nobody escapes Moe. Nobody." And then the fog goes... Psh. What about when Moe gets a girlfriend and convinces Homer to steal his car? Stealing a car from Moe. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Insurance fraud today. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I as a writer, I bow to the superior writing on The Simpsons. And it is amazing, Kendall, that The Simpsons have lasted so long. Oh, Flaming Moe. I love Flaming Moe. Let's all go to Flaming Moe's. Where? Oh, I don't remember the lyrics of that one. But I've done pretty well so far. Josie, you want to get in on this?
Hi.
Do you watch The Simpsons?
Not a lot.
Oh, well, then get out. You're not welcome here.
Wow.
The Simpsons only. Bart, strip down to your skeleton.
Okay.
Any last words on The Simpsons before we wrap this episode up, guys? People are saying hi, Josie.
Oh, hi.
So get on
Hi.
the camera. Make sure we. There she is. She's been. You've been watching from the other room, right?
Yes.
Sort of, yeah.
Sort of.
So it's like meta for you. So.
But you keep saying something and then it repeats it, so it got kind of annoying.
Yeah. Well, do your homework, and then over there, 5 minutes later, do your homework. So thanks, Josie. Oh yeah, they've had bands on the show. Sonic Youth. The Who. Remember when The Who played? When they got a different area code and then Springfield was split into two? Oh my God. Yeah, she would do the skeleton thing, Handle. Smashing Pumpkins, Sonic Youth. Who was the guy with the, Peter Frampton? His guitar can talk. Spinal Tap, Cypress Hill, Elvis Costello. Oh, I loved when Homer goes to rock and roll fantasy camp. And, Tom Petty goes, "This is a guitar. A guitar has many names. A Gitbox." That's pretty much all the names that it has. Red Hot Chili Peppers. Oh, yeah, Weird Al. Weird Al sings a song. Little ditty about Marge and Homer. Wasn't that the 500th episode extravaganza? Yeah, I used to collect all those Simpsons figures. At one time, I had 99% of them, but I thought I had to get rid of them. They just were such a burden. I was carrying around. The thought of moving again while those Simpson figures was driving me insane. So they went to somebody in like Germany or something. So Sprechen Sie Deutsche, baby. Remember when the power plant gets sold to Germans? Oh, not the Germans. Not the Germans. Oh yeah, Penn and Teller. When Teller goes, he means it, folks. I'm not the first Teller. I don't know if they should cancel the show. As long as people are writing it and people are watching it, it'll go on forever because the characters don't age. Eventually, here's what'll happen. Here's my prediction. Eventually, The Simpsons will. The actors will just ask for too much. I know Harry Shearer quit, was given a raise, and came back just recently, and eventually it'll price itself out of existence, and that'll be it. Oh, when Bart and Lisa and Maggie, remember when at the end of the episode where they get Marge and Homer are declared unfit parents, and at the end they're gonna baptize them, and Homer takes you took a baptism for me, Homer. Oh yeah. You know what? Bad Simpsons is like pizza. Even when it's bad, it's still pretty good. I mean, it's still pizza. It's still The Simpsons. So, Simpsons will live at least another 10 years at least, no doubt. I mean, Fox needs it. It anchors their Sunday night. Until they can come up with something better, it's going to be on until the cows come home. So, my voice is faltering, folks. I got to wrap up. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Jeff Tucker. The show is 91 Reasons. You can find my podcast on iTunes and Stitcher. I do 2 or 3 episodes a week usually, unless I get swamped at work. I've been trying to do these at least once a week. I'll try to do. I'm hoping to do a Periscope episode at least once a week if I can find the time to do it because. Life just gets busy. But thank you so much for tuning in. I have no idea how many people were listening or watching. This episode will show up in the feed of 91 Reasons in a few days. The video will show up on our page in a few days so that everybody can tune in and watch. And thanks to Hendel and everybody else, Michael, who support us on Patreon. There's another Patreon episode coming in a few days. We're going to do Hendel's Request, a movie I'm terrified to talk about, Blade Runner, one of the best movies ever made. So, thanks for tuning in. I am Jeff Tucker, 91 Reasons, blah, blah, blah. Springfield is a hell of a town. And we'll see you on the next episode of SNOSRAT 19. Where is it? No, it's on the phone. Oh, I just knocked it over. SNOSRAD 19, or 91 Reasons if you can read it backwards. So every other week would be fine. Yeah, that would be nice, right? No one wants to look at my mug. The reason it's a podcast is people don't look at my mug. Good night, everybody. We'll see you in TV land.
Thanks for listening to 91 Reasons. Please subscribe and leave a review on iTunes. Find us on Facebook. Is anyone even still listening?
Worst episode ever.